Persecution is direction. Sometimes you shout about the doors God opens, but you ought to be shouting about the doors God closes. He will push you. And what has happened up into the first 8-10 years of the early church, they kept coming back to the council at Jerusalem, because after all, Jerusalem is the epicenter of almost every major religion in the world today, claims its origin and root to go back to the city of Jerusalem. That is why the Middle East has so much conflict, because they're fighting over territory, because Jerusalem becomes Jerusalem, the holy city, the city of peace, the offspring and the progenitor of which three major religions claim heritage. Yet you must realize that Jesus throws us a hint when he was crucified, according to the book of Hebrews, outside of the city. Jesus, by his crucifixion, is already preaching to us that he's trying to escape religious order. That he's breaking up orthodoxy, that he refuses to be left into the expected, but he's going to move in the unexpected. And so when the book of Hebrews said that he died without the city, it means that he escaped the religious order to expose who he really was, so that he wouldn't be stuck in the prison of religious ideology. That's why some people can't handle elevation, because you are unexpected. You're out of the box. You break all the rules. You change the game. You change the flow. You broke the order. Look at you, young folks and old folks, and you, black folks and white folks and brown folks, shouting and dancing and praising God. Elevation is Now, you must understand that Christianity was not popular then. It didn't even have a name yet. It wasn't until they got to Antioch that they started to be called Christians. The early church was called the Way, and then later they were called the Believers, and eventually at Antioch they were called the Church. And so this nameless group of Jesus freaks were coming to Jerusalem because that's where they had last spotted his glory. Whenever there was a dispute, they came back to Jerusalem. Whenever there was confusion, they came back to Jerusalem, and they kept huddling in Jerusalem. So God sent persecution to shift them. I want to talk to everybody who's been persecuted and you've been thinking it was the devil. If it was the devil, God used him, because God will often use the devil to shift you from one dimension to the next dimension. That's why we glory in tribulation. Anybody can glory when things are going well, but real believers glory in tribulation. Oh, I appreciate all of you that are praising God because everything's going right, but the real praise goes to the people where all hell is breaking loose and you're still praising God anyway, because God is shifting you through persecution. And the Bible says that God sent persecution to Jerusalem to scatter the church out of its comfort zone, to make them move to the next dimension, to get them out of Monk's Corner or Creek or whatever. You see, God has a way of ordering your steps in such a way that sometimes you have to pack your bags and flee your comfort zone to find your destiny.